Hello everyone, thank you for coming out to this stream today. I am Christopher Disciple Allen, and this is Disciple's Quest to become the very best shoutcaster ever. I am about to hop into some Diamond 1 solo queue, spectating off of Ryden7, and we will go ahead and see who else is in that game. This is going to be some high Diamond 1, some great plays, and hopefully a good time for all. Let's hop right over there. And we will see over on our blue team, we have jungling Rain Sound on Lee Sin, G-Man 567 playing that Malphite top. In the bottom lane, it will be Case Close supporting a Soraka, with Ryden7 playing that AD carry Jinx, and Desecraton, almost Desecration, but not quite, playing that mid Orianna. Over on the red side, it will be Azingi playing the Zed in the mid lane, K for Kimchi, jungling Gragas, legit ADC in the bot lane on Caitlyn, with Death Incarnate supporting as Thresh, and Fireboy X on the top lane Mundo. Ryden7 is a player here from Utah, the state that I currently reside in, and I have casted him live before at a couple of events actually. He's a good player, plays on some great teams, and we hope to see some good plays out of him in solo queue. Azingi is also a player that I have has had some experience casting, have definitely heard a bit about, and am looking forward to some big things from him. I feel like Zed is going to be favored against this team consisting primarily of, Jinx and Orianna. An assassin with that much mobility against someone without any escapes like a Jinx is going to be particularly deadly, and it'll really be up to Soraka to be able to heal Jinx up, and to Orianna and Lee Sin to really kind of form a defensive barrier. For Orianna to use the shield and potentially the command Shockwave to get Azingi away from Ryden7, or for Rain Sound just to simply kick him away or try to take him out before the fight begins. The strategy on our red team here is going to be some safe play and zoning, particularly from Mundo and Thresh, while leaving their ADC Caitlyn in the back to deal consistent damage, and then K for Kimchi and Azingi can move in to make the plays when they need to, using that explosive cask to initiate or to back off of a fight that isn't going in their favor, and then Azingi going in for that kill. And there isn't a really direct counter to Azingi on this team, which I was talking about, so it'll just kind of be up to some creative play to defend these carries on the blue side, because if Azingi can just get on the Ryden7 without any defense, there's almost no chance that a Jinx can really get away from that. And so we'll see exactly how they play it, how they can hopefully bring the odds in their favor and to come out on top in this exciting high Diamond 1 game. We are finally getting into our load screen here so we can see the beautiful skins and borders for all of these players. I'm glad that Zen Harak says that I look stoned. I am still a bit sick, but I'm trying to ignore it as much as possible, as I want to just focus primarily on my casting and on doing better, and I need to forget about everything else that might be holding me back a bit. And so this is a no holds barred cast, except for the deadline of my shift at work that begins in about 25 minutes. And so if this game does last more than 25 minutes, I might have to deck out a little bit early, unfortunately, but we should still get in some good casting. The end might be a little bit left up to the imagination though. Coming out here, we can see the most important determining factor for a game is usually the skin war, surprisingly enough. And if we look at these teams, it's going to be tied 3 for 3. Traditional Lee Sin, Glacial Malphite, and Dryad Soraka against the Shockblade Zed, Hillbilly Gragas, and a Resistance Caitlyn, with the naked Thresh, Mundo, Ori, and Jinx. And so this is going to be a close game, most certainly. Some beautiful, lovely diamond borders all around here. A good gold border matching mine on Azingi. And we're just waiting for everyone to get in here so we can begin our game. K for Kimchi might want to invest some of that some of that sponsor money into a new computer. Everyone in Diamond 1 gets sponsored, right? Everyone's a rich professional gamer at Diamond 1. That's how it works. Oh yeah, today is double-digit days of DiscipleQuest. Of Disciples Quest to become the very best shoutcaster ever. It is day number 10, January 10th, and I've made it this far without missing a day, and so I'm pretty happy with that. If only I could apply the same amount of dedication to working out, staying healthy, all that kind of stuff. But hey, League of Legends is really what's important here, and that's what I've chosen as my top priority. And here we are in the game. We're going to pop up our beautiful overlay. And there it is with our blue and red team. We'll go ahead and rearrange our scoreboard. Going to bring down the music volume just a little bit so we can focus primarily on this game. And here we are in our game. If we take a look at some of these starting items, we can see a flask start up top on Malphite so that he can both keep up his health and his mana. Malphite primarily uses mana to be able to clear out waves and really stay in lane against someone. He shouldn't have too many troubles against Mundo, but over time, Mundo should be able to win the war of attrition because he doesn't operate on any mana and instead just has the regeneration from his passive and from that Doran's shield and health potion. In the jungle, both of our junglers have started out with the Hunter's Machete. Now, Gragas is a little bit less conventional of a jungler than Lee Sin, but we have been seeing it crop up a bit more. And so it will be Gragas, using his abilities to clear out the jungle. He does have great sustain, both with his passive and his W, Drunken Rage. And if he can really get in there with the ganks, a lot of damage from his barrel roll and from his body slam, as well as the slow accompanying that. Once he hits 6, he can be a really potent force in team fights and in lane if he can throw out that explosive cast. Now, legit ADC face checks his bush. Ryden7 is going to spot him out immediately, and Case Close won't be there in time to return much damage, or to put much damage on the legit ADC. But a few extra auto attacks are going to definitely not hurt that blue side early on. There is going to be an invade here from the red team on the blue. Fireboy X and Azingi both working that one down. This will allow his Fireboy X to go right back to his red and potentially keep Rain Sound from getting more than just one of his starting buffs. That was a very not too fast of a blue buff there. Mundo did not. Oh, Mundo doesn't have smite because Mundo is the jungler, of course. That was just the mid and the top laner taking that away. So that's going to be, of course, K for Kimchi able to take his own red buff pretty easily. But now Rain Sound realizes that his blue buff is taken and is going to move over to take away K for Kimchi's red buff. He does have a red buff of his own. No, he's moving up towards the top lane there to get a gank off onto Fireboy X, who did lose some early health off of that blue buff. Let's see if he can't get in here. He throws a ward in there immediately. There's a flash from Fireboy X, but they're going to stay onto him. The Ignite comes in, the Resonating Strike, the first blood there for Rain Sound, picking up that blue buff and flashing out to escape the final tick of damage. A really solid pickup there, getting his double buffs back and also netting a kill up in that top lane. Now K for Kimchi is running up top, but he won't be able to find it. Azingi in the middle lane did move in there. If I can just find exactly where they're bound to my keys, there it is. Azingi managed to get a kill onto Desecrate and rather easily. He just simply swapped forward and took him down without much effort at all. K for Kimchi going in aggressively onto G-Man 5, 6, 7 in the top lane. Flash out of the body slam, but there's a red buff slow. Can K for Kimchi get this? He does with the barrel roll. A really solid play from K for Kimchi, just exploiting that early mobility advantage that Gragas has, and being able to net one extra kill for his team after a rather unfortunate beginning, losing that kill up in the top lane. Taking a look at this goal, that will be still just 200 in advantage of the red team. That one extra kill did give them a little bit of an advantage, but it's still close that no one will really be able to push an early lead here. The blue team has been pushed up rather far to their turret, which is surprising for a Caitlyn lane. especially a Caitlyn Thresh lane, because Thresh can usually punish aggression. As Zingy going in hard on the Desecrated in the middle, but there is Rain Sound on, and Zingy could be in a rough spot. He tries to turn it on to Desecrated, but he can't quite get it. The Command Protect comes out in time for Desecrated to get the kill onto Zingy. Good roam from Rain Sound to make sure that his mid lane didn't go down a second time in a row, and now it will be 2 for 2. Red team now down by 200 instead of the other way around. K for Kimchi moving in here is going to spot out Rain Sound in the jungle. He's going to start to duel with him. There's the barrel roll to slow his attack speed, and he immediately takes a lot out of Rain Sound, who doesn't have his flash. He used that earlier on. He will safeguard to Desecrated. The barrel roll comes in and misses. It does connect with Desecrated and takes a lot of the Command Protect though, and he's going to follow in here with a body slam. Oh, there was an excellent resonating strike to juke around from the minions, but Desecrated now caught in a rough position. Will go down to K for Kimchi, who will be fine to take a kill on the mid laner out of all of that in a 1 for 2. This shows the early strength from Agragas jungle, who can easily transition into a late game AP carry / initiator. He's now going to roam right down towards mid. He doesn't have his explosive cask, but he still should be able to get in here for a good amount of damage. Ryden7 could be in a rough spot, does flash out of the death sentence and lays out an excellent trap there, which is going to stop K for Kimchi in his path, but the flash flay in could be too much for Ryden. He does barrier that, and legit ADC gets baited in, takes the lantern out and throws out his own barrier for the last bit of damage. Does manage to survive. A Zingy roams down here on the Ryden7, a roam I completely missed, in which he did as well. Now proceeds in on the case closed, who silences a Zingy and is going to be in a rough spot there. There's a Tempest going to take him out. A lot of action around this map. 7 kills in less than 6 minutes. A rough dive there, going to result in no kills for the red team and a kill for the blue, as well as a couple backs out of here. It will allow Rain Sound to move in here into the jungle, take away that white, and be in a pretty good spot here. The gold is about even though. The kill advantage is still going to be to the red team, and so it's still a close game. We just have to see really where the junglers roam there, because that's where the majority of the kills have been so far. So we are here in our quest to become the very best shotcaster ever. 10 down, 365 to go. Getting off to be a pretty good game. If it does last a little bit too long, I might have to duck out, but hopefully that doesn't happen. K for Kimchi moving in onto the mid lane towards Desecrated, who does have his flash, should be able to flash out of this. There he goes. The Shuriken is not enough. There's the Ignite going down, but it's not going to take down quite too much. Zingy will be able to stay in this lane though, does have a little bit of save from the door displayed. Rain Sound moves in, but has to be careful. K for Kimchi is still around. Oh, Rain Sound moves in. There were quite a few minions there, and he couldn't quite follow up onto a Zingy. Legit ADC and Death Incarnate are just taking up a defensive position in this lane. Now might want to look to move offensive, as they do have K for Kimchi moving down, still not level 6. This could be a really good spot up against Ryden7. The Lantern comes down to provide K for Kimchi an escape route after diving this turret, grabbing the kill and moving immediately out. There's the explosive cask as Gragas just ticks 6 and does pop the flash from case closed. A large summoner burnt down on a support with no escapes. Going to be a really good position to be in for a future gank, but now we could see Rain Sound moving in here for a gank. The recalls didn't come out though. Rain Sound's going to move in onto K for Kimchi. He was sending out a ward. Going to kick that with the Dragon's Rage, finished off with the Resonating Strike, and now there is the command Shockwave on the Death Incarnate, who is just going to try and stall long enough for legit ADC to get out. The double kill for Rain Sound, going to sound the bells of death for the red team, as blue team does take an 800 gold advantage. Legit ADC has to be careful that he doesn't get caught as well. The Resonating Strike comes in. There is the cripple slow. He does have to flash out of that one. He stayed around a bit too long. Now as Zingy moves in to the 1 versus 3, going to get the kill on the case close and try and flash out, but Desecrated will get the kill, I believe, with the damage from the Command Protect there. A bit of aggressive of a play to get the kill on the support there will open up an opportunity for the blue team to go for this dragon. Rain Sound taking a bit of damage from that, but now with Ryden7 there to help, this should be a pretty easy takedown. K for Kimchi is nowhere near. The top lane has been pretty quiet for quite a while. No kills since the early couple from the jungler ganks, And it really looks like Ryden7 is just falling slightly below in farm because, of course, he is reliant on that mana for his wave clear, and when he runs out, then he can't quite keep up with the likes of a resourceless champion like Mundo. K for Kimchi did move in and steal away that blue buff. That will be a pretty big asset to take away from this Orianna, who is already quite a bit behind in farm. To the mid lane is Zingy. Orianna does have 2 kills under her belt, does have Shells of Harmony, so it won't hurt as bad as it could have possibly. But still, these consistent good moves from K for Kimchi are going to continue putting his team in a strong position. The 3-1-1 score on the jungler there proves that he has been moving around this map quite a bit. Unfortunately, Zingy does have 3 deaths to his name, as half the deaths on his team, as he has been going in rather aggressively time and time again. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Death Incarnate in quite a bit of a kerfuffle in the bottom lane. I'm not sure we can call it really a fight, as there are just a few blows exchanged back and forth. Rainsound is beginning to move down here. We might see the play coming out. No, instead he's just going to go for those double golems over there, allowing the duo lane to continue duking it out. Legit ADC is about 6 minions ahead, a wave over Ryden7. Now K for Kimchi has moved in, has scoped out this bush, and sees there are no minions. They're going to move in for the 3 versus 3 here. Death Incarnate has to back up a little bit, but Case closes out in front. The explosive cast pushes him all the way back. Legit ADC grabs the kill there. Now Rainsound tries to get the Dragon's Rage out on the K for Kimchi, who has to flash away. Now Legit ADC and Death Incarnate are on the offensive. There is the ace in the hole, but it's blocked by Rainsound, who grabs the Rampage kill on the Legit ADC and escapes off the side there. Death Incarnate has to shield himself up with the Lantern, and there is the splash damage from the rocket, almost grabbing the kill. The zap comes across, falls on the K for Kimchi, not quite getting Death Incarnate, but the Sonic Wave around makes it a 2-for-1. Chaos Close did fall early, but they did return 2 kills for their troubles. Blue team really team fighting this well. Now Rainsound war jumping across the wall. K for Kimchi did see it and might feel confident about surviving this potential dive. Let's see how he does it. The Sonic Wave connects. Is he going to stay in range? He throws down the barrel on top of himself so that if Rainsound does follow up with the resonating strike, he would have gotten blown up immediately. A solid play from K for Kimchi. A Zingy going aggressively up against the turret, just against the support, isn't going to be too ferocious. Now Legit ADC moves down, tried to find the kill on the Rainsound, but couldn't quite get it. Continuing to be a lot of action all the way across this map. Okay, for Kimchi does fall there to Rainsound, who went back in aggressively, but Legit ADC will be able to net forward, grab the kill, try to turn on the Ryden7, who is healed up by Case Closed. Now Death Incarnate goes in for the flay backwards. The Death Sentence, and Ryden7 will be slain there by Death Incarnate. They're continuing on the Case Closed, who does have his flash, shouldn't be in too rough a position, going to be backed up by Desecrate and not having to blow that Summoner. And top lane is still top lane. Desecrated moving towards the mid has been trying to keep up with Zingy's farm, but Zingy hasn't been roaming recently. He's just been staying mid, grabbing up those CS, bringing himself up to 80, so about a now a 12 CS advantage, 2 waves over his opponent mid laner. But the majority of the farm in this game is going to be up on Mundo in the top lane. Now at 103, has already picked up the Sunfire Cape to counter his enemy's Sunfire Cape, oddly enough. But he will be at quite a bit of goal advantage. Oh, there is the command. Shockwave onto his Zingy in the mid, who's going to swap to his Shadow after the Dragon's Rage. Rainsound tries to stay on him, but doesn't have any CC to back it up after that. And that was a brilliant Zed play, being able to transfer back to the Shadow after being put astonishingly out of position. Fireboy X does take out the turret up in the top and will continue pushing this out rather aggressively, while his mid lane does begin to fall to the likes of Desecraten. Okay, for Kimchi trying to defend this, does have the explosive cask, might be able to turn this around on the Discrete, and he has to be careful. The body slam misses, the explosive cask goes the wrong way, and that wasn't the play K for Kimchi was looking for. Now the Sonic Wave comes across to let him know there is an opponent there. Death Incarnate goes aggressively, and Ryden7 takes him out with the Super Mega Death Rocket. Legit ADC can't. There it is, the last auto attack, but now Ryden7 could be in an advantageous position. Steps onto the trap. Rainsound is there to back it up, misses the Sonic Wave. Legit ADC is in a rough spot there against 3 enemies. The Zap takes it out after Ryden7 fought hard for that kill. Couldn't quite get it until his teammates showed up to support him, but still the roams and the team fight presence from this blue team are great. They're turning around fights that really red team are creating all around the map. Now as Zingy is here in the opposing jungle, Fireboy X also looking to go maybe potential on the G-Man. There is the Unstoppable Force onto a Zingy, gets taken low, has to flash away from there. The body slam over from K for Kimchi, going to slow down G-Man 567 just a bit, takes him out with the auto attacks, the barrel roll, doing a good amount of damage to Desecrating, but Fireboy X gets bursted immediately from Rainsound, who is dominating this game right now, 8-1-3. K for Kimchi now could be in a rough spot. Rainsound moves in from the side. There is the body slam away. The Sonic Wave going to miss though. Rainsound can't miss those if he wants to grab this kill. The consistent starfalls from Case Close going to continue to bring him low. The command Shockwave being a little bit overkill there from Orianna as they do finally get the kill on the K for Kimchi, and it will set up another dragon here. Death Incarnate comes to check it. They are there, surprisingly enough, and that will be Death Incarnate flashing over the wall, maybe surviving this. The wards consistently coming out to try and find them. The Sonic Wave came out onto a Zingy, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, will fall there. Death Incarnate does grab the kill onto Rainsound though after the unfortunate turret dive, but 1-for-1 will actually stop. Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket almost connected on the Death Incarnate but couldn't quite find him. The most important play there was that they did stop the dragon attempt from blue team. It will still be up, and this will provide an opportunity for red team to take it. Legit ADC will start that up, and K for Kimchi is heading down. They do spot out Legit ADC with the ward, and Case Close is going to move in here alongside Ryden7 to the flash. Body slam explosive cast will be flashed away by Ryden7, now turning around with the Flame Chompers and the Zap. Looks like everyone is just being consistently stopped here, and there won't be any really definitive action from these teams on the dragon just yet. Top lane continues to be top lane as we move back to the interesting part of the map with Death Incarnate going to go ahead and spot out that ward, take it out. K for Kimchi now moving on to that blue buff and can then hopefully fight for some of this dragon control, which I'm sure that Rainsound is just desperate to reclaim. Fireboy X spotting onto G-Man 567 here, who did go for the red buff steal. G-Man 567 now goes for the Unstoppable Force on the Zingy with the Sonic Wave and Earthsending Strike. Zingy falls low. The Hex Drinker shield does pop. He's trying to run away from the side. Now Rainsound has turned on the Fireboy X, but with the command, no, Dissonance. He might be able to escape from this one with that flash over the wall. K for Kimchi is there for the disengage. Fireboy X stays around. The red buff actually did go over to the cleaver for Fireboy X, who finally has his ultimate. K for Kimchi running away from this one. Will be able to escape under the security of his own turret. However, in the bottom lane, there was a 2-for-0. Fireboy X going back in there after he received the health from his ultimate with the explosive cast. They take Desecrate in low, but they can't quite finish him off. The Super Mega Death Rocket once again missing everyone, but I'm sure Ryden7 doesn't feel too bad after picking up the double kill in the bottom lane and taking a turret as well. Fireboy X continues in here but gets taken low by Rainsound. Can he follow up? He flashes him for the last hit. Now Zingy will go in with the Death Mark to take Rainsound low. Can it pop him though? There it is with the Razor Shuriken. K for Kimchi just going to make his way back into the middle lane and push that out and hopefully finish off this turret. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Ryden7 has moved in to start up this dragon, but he's not going to get it fast enough, and he has to back out. Case Close getting caught here in the river. K for Kimchi and Zingy going to finish him off, and now Ryden7 definitely had to back off of that one. Might look to go for the Zap steal here. That's really all he can afford to do against 4 enemies, but they will take a defensive position around here and block that Zap from getting through. It did connect on the Blizzard ADC, but thankfully not the dragon. This is still proving to be a close game, only 2,000 gold separating the teams. That will be the blue side with the advantage, but it's still not too convincing, and a lot of that is on Rainsound, who will begin to fall off as we proceed later and later into the game. He's picked up the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, a Phage, and the Giant's Belt to get a good combination of damage and tankiness, which will help him to dive into those fights and really take out the key targets, or be able to duel with some of the tankier targets like K for Kimchi or Fireboy X. The farm in these lanes are pretty even in the mid and the bottom, really only, 10 CS separating them. However, in the top, it still will be about that 30 deficit. The Lantern helping legit ADC escape once again, but they still can't take this. The Talisman of Ascension comes out from both sides, as red side realized they could be in a bad spot. Now K for Kimchi dueling out here. Zingy going in onto Rainsound. Are they going to go aggressively? Fireboy X in there with the consistent cleavers on Desecrating, who will use that command shockwave to force Fireboy X off. Dodges out from that cleaver expertly and will escape from that one. However, it does open up the turret for this red team. Now Case Close has moved up here, as well as Ryden7 coming up to join the team. Throws out the Flame Chompers to keep the red team from joining. Case Close, though, in a rough position, as Zingy should be able to take this out. Fireboy does get the last cleaver, and now they're in onto Rainsound as Zingy takes him out. As Zingy, in a bad spot, though, goes in with the Death Mark and switches right back to his clone. Escapes with a sliver of health, but cannot take out Desecrating. Oh, there's a Death Sentence onto G-Man, and that will be the kill for our support, Death Incarnate, proving to be a real Death Sentence. The flashbox on the Ryden7 and the ace in the hole, the flay backwards. K for Kimchi, we need you with a barrel roll. The Death Sentence once again, and that was 100% Death Incarnate with that play. Of course, legit ADC got the kill, as is the nature of the game. Legit ADC has to be careful. Desecrating has come back with a Elixir of Brilliance, and might look to make something happen. He realizes that the game is on a precarious edge, as the inhibitor towers are becoming more and more of a target here. The inner towers both falling low, both becoming the centers of these fights. And he wants to make a big play happen to get his team back in the lead. They have fallen out just by a few hundred gold. That's not a position you want to be in, especially against a team that can siege so well, with a Caitlyn with the auto attacks, a Mundo with the cleavers, and then the engagement from a Gragas. Where on earth did that just happen? Where was Rainsound? I guess it was just in the middle lane he was able to find the kill onto his Zingy. K for Kimchi now in a rough spot, running away from Desecrating. He was just trying to recall. He will body slam away. Desecrating's going to go for the turret dive here. K for Kimchi, how can you turn this one around? I think he might want to look for the turn. He does have his body slam available. The wish comes in from Soraka to give Desecrating the health, and there's the unstoppable force across to assure that kill for Desecrating. Now Fireboy X just left to defend this turret on his own. Death Incarnate will be backing him up soon, and the AD carries are left dueling down in the bottom lane as Zingy finally respawning will head up towards this top lane. And this is proving to be an exciting game through and through. And is it my cue yet? Yes, unfortunately I have to leave for work. And so what I might do is just leave the stream going with the game up. So you guys can at least see the directed camera version of the rest of the game if you'd like to, while I perform my job. And so I will go ahead and remove my webcam and turn off the mic, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Sorry that I have to leave you like this, but hopefully the rest of the game is fun. I just don't want to, leave you guys off with a satisfying ending that you might have been looking for.